You and your partner are experiencing a rough patch in your relationship. You have a hard time feeling connected to each other and you don't feel understood. You worry if this is the beginning of the end of your relationship. Can you and your partner come out stronger, more connected, and more in love than ever before? Yes, you can. Namaskar, parents. I'm Dr. Meghna, the therapist mommy. I'm a clinical psychologist and a relationship and couple therapist. And today, I'll share some ways you can work through your couple relationship when you're in a tough spot. If you're facing a rough patch in your relationship, there is no sugarcoating the situation. You will have to make the decision that the relationship is worth being in and it is worth working on. And if you've decided that, you must roll up your sleeves and do your part. Here are 5 ways to do this. 1. Own your part. Recognize your role in how the two of you got to this place in your relationship. There is the we stuff that impacts a relationship, but there is also the me stuff. Decide if you are willing to do some personal inventory on the internal work that you need to tackle. Do you need to change your attitude about your partner? Do you need to allow yourself to notice the good things that your partner does? Can you find something that you appreciate about your partner and let them know? You may need to forgive or accept some things that you cannot change about your partner to open up your mindset. There may be work that you need to do. Perhaps you can do this, if you're in therapy. And this will allow you to hold your partner in a positive perspective again. Second, have some fun together. When was the last time you two went on a date? When was the last time you two had sex that wasn't functional? Great relationships don't just happen, they need tending. Shared positive experiences lead to shared positive emotions. If you don't invest in quality time with each other, don't be surprised when you start to view your spouse as a business partner that you are in the business of being in a relationship with. Sexual connection, real intimacy, these are some ways to create vulnerability with each other. If you want to add a charge of positivity to your view of the relationship, then you absolutely need to behave in ways that generate affection, that generate physical connection, and that generate shared vulnerability. Third, reframe the situation. Relationships can be really hard work. Rough patches usually represent the consequences from a time when the relationship wasn't a priority to either one or both of you. Reframe this time as a wake-up call that lets you know you need to do a reset, a relationship reset. Many couples experience this. They experience periods when they haven't really prioritized the relationship for whatever reason. Not because they didn't care about each other, but because they got busy with other stuff, jobs, family responsibilities, and that's okay. But rough patches are those aha moments, that serve as reminders that there is work to do. You can get your relationship back on track, but you need to see the consequences in the right light. This rough patch does not mean that you're a failure as a couple and that you should throw in the towel. It signals that you got off course and you can still do something to turn it around. Fourth, remember the good times. Your relationship has likely had some really amazing times when you actually felt loved, when you felt valued, cherished, seen. But if you've never experienced those times, it's unlikely that you would still be in the relationship, right? Instead, you likely fell into a negative sentiment override. What does that mean? Negative sentiment override? What that means is that you both are so hyper-focused on your problems that you have a hard time remembering the good parts. This negative sentiment override can keep you stuck in a pattern of negative emotion, and this influences negative responses. Can you remind yourself of the things that you like about your partner? Can you remind yourself of the times that things actually went well? What were you each contributing to the success of your relationship during those times? Can you find ways to recreate some of those positive emotions? Getting in touch with some of those previous positive emotions may actually generate warm thoughts about your partner. Feeling positive about the person you are in a relationship with, it can really help restore genuine positive energy that leads to positive interactions. And finally, ask for what you need in a positive way. Have you asked for your needs in the relationship, or do you assume that if your partner really loved you, that they would just know? Have you asked in the right way? There are 2 good places that I teach couples this to start with. Learn how to use a gentle startup. Like for example, you can use an I statement. Like instead of saying, "You're not listening to me," try saying, I don't feel heard right now, right? So you change from you to I. Instead of saying, you're so careless with money, say, we're a little tight on our budget and I think that we should try to save some more. Yeah? So focus on how you are feeling. Focus on what you need, not on accusing and blaming your partner. And the second strategy is find a way to accept some of the responsibility for how a difficult conversation got off course. Like you're telling your partner about your difficult day at work and he makes a remark about your manager, for example, which pisses you off. And instead of sticking to the issue, both of you lash out at each other and you start fighting. Getting the conversation back on track can sound like saying, I'd prefer if we stick to discussing how I can cope with this project at work than focusing on my manager. Something like that. So get it on course. This tough time in your relationship might be temporary. There is no guilt, there is no shame involved with hitting a rough patch in your couple relationship. It actually can be the jolt that your relationship needs to come out stronger and more valued on the other side. All the best, and let me know if you use any of these 5 strategies. This is the Therapist Mommy signing off.